Welcome to this week's Community Forum. Joining us today is Lee Lefwich, who is the CEO and co-founder of the Muster Project.
Yes.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Catherine.
So tell me about the Muster Project and how you got started.
Well, the Muster Project is a program where we work with youth, and we started back in 1990. And it came from a dream of an individual who was a manager at Lowe's back when Lowe's was at the little Chevrolet dealership. And there was a young black gentleman came into a store, and he said, "Yo, man, give me a job." Well, the guy wasn't quite dressed properly, and he said he kind of overlooked that. He said, "Okay, well, I'll give you a job." So he gave the young man an application, and he found out the young man couldn't fill the application out. So it set up on his heart that people of caliber that knows things need to give back. So he formulated a little list and kind of put his ideals together. He said God was speaking to him on the way home, and his name is Booker Walker. And so Booker approached several people as they come out to the Lowe's store and gave him a little flyer. So we met back in 1990,
wow.
And we brainstormed. It was about 7 of us, really, that actually got together at one time it was a peak of 15. And we got together, and what our first objective was to kindly identify a young black male who didn't have a father figure in their life. So I put it this way, we identified 15 boys, and we took them camping, hiking, doing things that they normally would do if they had a father figure in their life, right? And so that started the ball rolling. Then we found out that the kids needed some help in school, so we started writing grants. I'm a grant writer, and we wrote grants to deal with after-school programs. So we helped them academically as well. From the revolution of all that now, and it just didn't stop with just the young black boys, okay? It elevated to all kids, girls and boys, blacks and whites. We've had programs where we go into the schools. We've had programs where we go into kindergarten. There was a program there called Second Step, and it was an anger management program. We had puppets. I had puppets and stuff like that, talk with the kids, and help them to understand how to deal with anger. We've had programs in elementary school, and one of those programs was Respect and Protect and Positive Adolescent Choice Training. It deals with how to get along with your peers in the classroom, how to be able to respond to situations not aggressively, but try to seek answers for it. Then we went to a middle school, and we did a program called All Stars. All Stars is a program that identified the 5 most prominent negative behaviors that young teenagers, get involved in.
Yes.
Teenage pregnancy, violence, drugs, truancy, and runaways. So we dealt with that. It was a program that designed that helped middle school kids understand that you need to really think about things before you react. Don't fall into peer pressure, and understand that there's ways and means to counteract your peers. Well, we also did programs in high school. And in high school, it was career development, trying to get them to understand 9th grade is important. You can't mess around in the 9th grade because those credits count for you to be able to get out of high school. So that went for probably, from about 1990 up until probably 2000 and about 2000. And then in 2000, we did a program called YES, Youth Education and Shoplifting. Prevention now, not showing how to shop, it was a prevention measure. And what we did, we had a program prior to that, let me back up a little bit. We had a program prior to that in conjunction with the Becca Police Department. And what we did when a child was caught for a small misdemeanor, we call them soft crimes, they was equated as to if that charge was an adult, and it was equated to an hourly wage as to how much money would have to be paid back, if such as stealing. And so Tommy Pack, who's now the magistrate in Raleigh County, she was the juvenile referee that they had on the police force. So she would sentence the kids to us, and we had to work with them for a certain amount of hours to get them to understand that they need to change their behaviors. And then from that, we went to what's called the Youth Education and Shoplifting Program. That was in conjunction with the juvenile probation. And what it was, first-time shoplifters that would have an opportunity to come to this class. It's a 12-hour class, 6 hours at home. We had a booklet, and then they come back into the class setting. And once they completed that, their petition was never filed. So it went away. I mean, actually, it was never filed, so it never really surfaced up.
Okay.
And that gives them another chance. We all make mistakes. You know,
do.
stupid mistakes.
Yes, we certainly do.
And so it shouldn't like punish them forever, because, you know, with a juvenile petition, it hurts you from going to school, going to college, getting a military job, federal jobs, all of those things.
Across the board.
Yes, and a lot of kids don't understand that. They just think, oh, when I turn 18, it goes away. It doesn't. We explain to them, you know, you are you, and you don't go away, okay? So not that they may bring that up in an adult court against you, but they would look at it and would have the judge determine the sentence. So with that, we've always been able to be on the preventive, intervention, and accountability end. And so it's been wonderful over the 25 some years of my involvement with this. And it's really astounding to know how much of an impact that you make on kids. Now, a lot of time I get asked the question, well, Lee, how do you know that you're making an impact? Well, one of the ways is I call it antidote, because I can't follow these kids through the school and whole nine. I wish I could, but that's a whole new job within itself, right? So what generally happens, I see them out in public, and they'll say, Mr. Leftwich, I remember you had me at, when you was at Beckley Stratton. I remember you had me when I was at Stratton Elementary. I remember you was with me at Head Start, So they remember that, and I always ask them, you staying out of trouble, ain't you? So, and they would say yes, but I had remarkable results with the shoplifting program. I'm really very proud of that, because what happened was, during the tenure of that very beginning stages of the shoplifting program, the Raleigh County Juvenile Probation Department seen approximately like 300 kids a year. Half of those were shoplifters. So we in turn took that load off of them, so to speak. Just for first-time shoplifters now. And even today, I can say that program worked. Now, it took a little time, but it worked. And the reason I'm saying that it worked, because the class can only be set up if there is as many as 8 to maybe 12. And the higher the number, lower than 20, it's a good class. When I say they, I've gotten very few shoplifters. The last time we had a class has been almost 2 years ago.
Wow.
The numbers are going down. I called juvenile probation and asked the secretary there how many kids we got, and she'll check, said, we only got 2. And we had, 2 new ones, and we got 3 that was left over from the last class that didn't come in. Well, they can't keep them hanging on, so they have to, have to do something with them. And so once the program would start falling off down the wayside, which is a good thing, because I tell the kids, work me out of a business. Let me go out of business.
There you go.
I say, because I can do everything on my Saturdays, because it was a Saturday program. And we did it in a court setting, which was at the old federal building. It's the RISA building now, because they have the courtroom setting in place, the judges stand the whole 9 yards. So we do it there. We did it there, so to give them the atmosphere that you can, one day you don't want to be looking before a judge up in here.
Right.
So it sets that scenario in their face. Well, when all of that started going away, so to speak, which is a good thing. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a good thing. We 5 years ago, we was able to create a Raleigh County Teen Court. And that's why our present program that we're doing today is based the Raleigh County Teen Court. Okay. And it's for first-time offenders as well. They come from juvenile probation, and it could be any charge, misdemeanor charge. And with that, they come. We have a court setting. When I say a court setting, we have a judge. We have an individual who's passed the law exam. He acts as our judge, and we have the kids who are trained to be the lawyers, the prosecuting attorney, the defense attorney. Great. The recorder, the treasurer, and the people on the jury. Now, I kind of gloat at this, and I don't brag about it, but I got to get my accolades where I can.
Of course.
I am the only registered teen court instructor in the state of West Virginia. Not that others can't do it now. I mean, some judge or some law clerk can do it. But I've went through the training to be a certified teen court instructor. And there's a program book called Street Law. And it really gets down to the basics of things, how to procedure to go through the whole, now how to train the kids, and we've had, it took me 3 years to get this program now. It was not easy, because the judge had to make sure that it was going to work. I mean, when you're dealing with people's, and especially young kids, demeanor and mindset, you got to make sure that there's a turning point in there. So the street law program is a law learning educational program. It's about teaching them which juvenile probation juvenile justice is supposed to be about rehabilitation, and it's not. And when I talk that, I mean, I've talked to different forums, different areas at the federal and state level as well, and I mentioned that, and they kind of look at me grimly. I said, well, juvenile justice system is supposed to be for rehabilitation. I said, but look at our adult population. So somebody's dropping the ball, right? When we have an overflow of adult inmates, what happened when they first got their first
younger.
charge? Right. When they was 13, 14, 15 years old. Did anybody
Guide
work with
them.
them? Right, see? And so that's what we do. I try to project myself as being an individual who will look at the underdog and try to make that person feel good about themselves. And it's not all just me. You know, I over the years that we had this, there was other staff members. You know, I had other people, the assistants and stuff. But as grant money falls off, you know, so does the people fall
blows
off,
up.
right?
Right.
Volunteer doesn't work too good. You know, I mean, I get people to volunteer in certain aspects, you know, for momentarily, but not as an ongoing. And I understand that. You know, I stepped out on this job back in '95, where I worked with an engineer firm. And at the engineer firm, and I'm saying it this way, I had to prove to my boss that I could draw a straight line. I mean, I'm being facetious, but honestly, I seen that I couldn't grow, and so I asked God to move my mountain, and He led me through the Mustard Project, and it's been a wonderful thing. Yes, it really is a challenge. It's a challenge, and I know that God is who I give all the glory to, because you know when you telling someone about how they need to change their mindset, you better be telling them the right thing, you know, because you can be a very big influence on them. You know, one of the things that has happened is during the course of all of that, and by me being able to do a research-based program. Now, all the programs we've done in these divisions, Head Start all the way to high school, there was research-based programs. It's not something that I made up. I wish I could have.
Just roll with it.
Yeah. You know, I had to go to training, get the certificate, and do those things. And so you was able to combine other programs with others, you know, a little bit of others, just take bits and pieces to make it fit the audience, you know, because we deal with girls. And at one point in time, I have to say this, at one point in time in our shoplifting program, we just see all boys. It was just young boys, okay? They out here being, you know, knuckleheads, as we call them. Then all of a sudden, it started changing. Our audience started to change. We started seeing, you know, half boys, half girls. Then all of a sudden, the boys went away. It was all girls. So I jumped on them girls. I said, what is wrong with you all? How are we, now speaking of me as a man, I said, how are we going to be responsible and accountable if you all are messing up too? So I said, you all need to change your mindset to keep us in check.
Yeah.
So, and you know, I just try to give them that. I try to give them a little antidote so they can understand, you know, and a lot of time, most of the charges that the girls was doing was for makeup. They didn't think they was beautiful, or this sort of way. So we used to tell them, you are beautiful inside. You know, the inside will show on the outside. So the makeup you put on, yes, okay, that adds an indemnity, but it's you. So we do things like, because it's like life skill training that they get as well. We don't chastise them. We don't make them feel like a criminal. We make them understand. One of the things that I have to say this, you know the triple dog dare, right? Okay. When I was growing up, you know, you can dare me, you can double dare me, but if you triple dog dare me, I have to do it.
Yeah.
You have to do it. Yeah, can't back out, right? My cousin triple dog dare me to jump off this building. It's about 12 foot high in the air. Now I'm like, what, 11 or 12? He triple dog dare me. I triple dog dare you, won't jump off that building. And knowing me, no choice. I jumped off that building. And Catherine, I have a scar on my knuckle. Now, this August, I'll be 65 years old. That scar reminds me of my triple dog dare. So whenever I talk to kids, I tell them about my triple dog dare. To let them know that don't let people put you in a perimeter where you think you got to prove something to them. And
Make
you're the
your own
one,
decisions.
yeah, and you're the one to get affected by it for life. I said, this is gonna be with me till I go into glory. So they like, oh, I see what you're saying. So you try to get down and talk at them.
More relatable.
Exactly, because sometimes they know, oh, that's happened to you. What happened to me? You know, we had programs we did with tobacco, drugs awareness, and tobacco, we try to tell the kids about tobacco because I have 3 training certificates in tobacco education. And I try to tell them that when you use tobacco, you're going to graduate to something higher. Because when you're 13, 14, 15 years old, and it's the status shows that kids as young as 8 years old are now using tobacco.
Wow.
Been exposed to tobacco, put it that way. And mainly it's because of their environment.
In their home.
The home, yes. And so just think about it. You're not even giving your body a chance to grow. Because nicotine, is the most addictive drug substance known to man. Mm-hmm. It's more addictive than heroin and crack cocaine because it gets to your body readily. And the nicotine replaces enzymes in your head to say you need this. Mm-hmm. And so some of the kids that come to us for, because you have to be 21 to have cigarettes. So what happens when they come to our teen court now, again, that's the only program we're doing, it may be for tobacco related, but generally they have another charge with that because a lot of the officers just don't stop a teenager for puffing on a cigarette. They would get them for like maybe shoplifting or truancy or something like that, mm-hmm. and they'll tack that on to it. So when we get them that way, we try to get them to understand that, that it's wrong, you're destroying your body. Wait till you get older, let your body grow. And then we try to explain to them that your brain doesn't stop developing until the age of 25. So wait till your body has got...
Fully grown, fully developed.
Yes, yes. Because if you put things in there to hamper you, then you can be, I call it handicap.
Right.
To a degree, to something. And I tell them, and especially with the young ladies, I always tell them, I said, now, one of the things you want to do, I said, because you all will be carrying the babies. And you don't want to hamper, disturb, or cause any harm to come to your baby, because everybody want to have a nice, healthy baby. So I tell them, don't use any type of product. And one of the biggest things about tobacco is, I tell them, look on the side of the pack. What does it say?
Mm-hmm. Tells you right there.
Yes, I mean, that's it.
Red flags. Red flags.
It's like, I'm not making this stuff up now. Look on the side of the pack. I said, now, if you was going to go into a lot or a piece of property and it hit a big sign that says, warning, there's the vicious dog.
Are you going to walk right in?
See? I said, so you got to do the same thing with cigarettes and stuff like that as well.
Right.
So hopefully, what we do makes a difference. And I know it does, Catherine. I wish I would have had the time to just go back. What I have done, though, I do have names of all of my kids, and I have a chance to try to look at them and try to observe them from time to time from adult records.
Okay, well, we're going to take a quick break. I know you have a lot more to tell us, so be sure to stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We have Mr. Lee Leftwich with us today.
Yes.
My tongue's getting tied this morning.
That's fine.
So I want to jump into the DMC program you mentioned and also the Community Transformation Project. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, Catherine. Through all of my years of being involved with the Muster Project, I was able to be a candidate to go to Georgetown University to be involved in it was a development program that calls for the reduction of juveniles in the juvenile justice system. Mm-hmm. Racial disparities, and was mainly identified as the youth of color. And so I was able to go there and get the training and develop the area to where I was working in 5 counties, was Raleigh, Kanawha, Cabell, Montgomery, and Berkeley County. And for a course of 2 years, it was a grant to come through the Division of Juvenile Justice Service. And so with that, I was able to make headway to getting people in the community. I mean, you had to get all the stakeholders, all the decision makers, the judges, the sheriff, the lawyer, prosecuting attorney's office, juvenile probation, anybody that deal with juveniles as a way of them being in facilities. And then I had to get community people, business people, mom and pops, store owners, school teachers, anybody else that was not a part of the decision-making system to come together and talk about solutions that we could come up with per county that could use to reduce the number of youth that was getting into our juvenile justice system. Well, in Raleigh County, it was marvelous, mainly in Raleigh County because, again, I'm entrenched in Raleigh County. I've been there for a long time. People know me.
Sure.
I'm like, when it comes to kids, everybody point to me. So it was easy to get things going in Raleigh County. So with the DMC, disproportionate minority contact coordinator position that I had for 2 years, we was able to form through a lady that was involved with the workshop and the trainings. Her name is Vicki Webb, and she also was involved at Beckley Stratton with a 21st Century grant. So she was able to come to our meetings, and she developed what's called Community Transformation Project. We're still working with kids, and these are kids who may or may not have been in the system, We don't differentiate with that. But kids from ages of from elementary all the way to high school is coming to her program she have set up now at West Virginia University Tech on Kanoe Street in Beckley at the Innovation Hall. She having it on Saturdays, and she is wonderful because the greatest thing about this, she has parents coming with their youth.
Oh, wow.
So there's people there
perfect.
who's helping her, Michelle Moore, who's a co-worker and involved with me. She's worked with the State School Improvement Committee. And so she goes and she do a parenting class that talk to the parents about schooling, how to apply for funds for college and stuff of that nature. Because again, we have kids that are from elementary all the way to high school. So she talks to the parents about things they need to know. Don't wait till the last minute, start getting stuff together.
Prepare early.
Yeah, early, get it going. They'll have a lady there that does sign language with the kids. And cause most of it deal with robotics. Now, Vicky's really up to STEAM is the theme, STEAM. So she's involved with that. I mean, she's got robotics going. They're doing websites. They're doing businesses things. I just leave her alone. I just get out of her way because,
Let her roll
that
with
technology stuff is not my forte, okay? I'm hands-on, but I'm not that technology person as well. So, but that's a wonderful program and it's really going great. And I really applaud her for sticking in there and making it work. And with that, hopefully, that our involvement with what we've done over the years, some of the kids would come back, because now, mind you, some kids that I worked with in the early ages, they're like in their late 30s and late 20s and early 30s.
Have you seen them come back and want to mentor?
I have seen them want to be involved. They want to be a part of it. And one of the things with my teen court, I have a young lady that started with me when she was in the 7th grade. She has graduated, and she still comes back in hip-hop. She loves it. She told me she's seen every episode of Law and Order. She wanted to be a lawyer. She's my 8th lawyer, so in my teen court, I allow her to work with the other teens to help them give some pointers about being a lawyer. So that's a part of giving back, and I encourage them to come back. I encourage them to come back and be a part of it because, that's how it revolves. You got to be able to give back and be a part of something that you benefited from. And so with the Mustard Project, it's what we do. And besides, to throw it out there, mustard means motivation, understanding, self-esteem, teaching, evaluation, and role modeling. So that it was an acronym. And mustard, the word itself means the gathering of troops to perform a certain task. So that's
what you're doing.
That's what we do. Yes.
Do you see some of the kids that are coming in now just being able to look at those mentors who have gone through the whole process already, give them a better sense of hope that they can
Yes.
have a bright future?
Yes. One thing that a lot of kids I see, and I see them when I'm going throughout Beckley doing my shopping, whatever, and they're working in different places and all, and they'll say, Mrs. Love, do you remember me? And I have to know, well, you're growing up. And they remind me. And they were saying, I would love to come back and talk with the kids or talk with a group of kids. Are you still doing that? Because some of them think we still do the after-school program, but we don't because of funding. But I tell them I have my teen court. Well, I really can't expose them to my teen court because it's all confidentiality. But I do now I would be able to try to have them be able to come to the Transformation Project and talk to the kids and let them know that this stuff works. It helps you out in life. And so stick with it, do the best you can because, it's something that you can use later on in life. Because it's not just about the program itself. A lot is about life skills as well. How to treat people, how to be respectful, And we always tell the kids, when you get a job, don't think your boss is going to be your best buddy. You go on your job to work, and you do your job doing it earnestly,
life,
then everything
personal
will work out. Right. And so we try to give them that because, today with our work market, it's kind of scary, I mean, the work
certainly
ethics
is.
is not there, so to speak, So, I mean, and it needs to be tuned in. They need to understand just because someone made you mad, don't quit, talk it out, find out. In other words, make everything okay. It was my fault, and so you can shove it off and go on. Kids sometimes they don't understand that. It's kind of hard to get them that. But you start with them early,
So they learn.
right? And they'll learn as the process go on. Because sometimes we do role playing. In some of our programs, we would do role playing. We do the bad guy, good guy type of thing to let them know that everything's not going to be a rose out there in life, And parents welcome it. They just love it. I mean, I see parents from now and then that say thank you for being involved with my kids, and everybody has highs and lows on their jobs, right?
Of course.
And every time when I get low, and God knows it, because what He sends somebody by, and they'll say,
least expected.
yes, they'll say, Mr. Leffler, you remember me, or I see a parent, or you had my child in one of your programs at school or whatever, and so then it lifts me up again. So I know that you know it works because kids are being more responsible, and the juvenile problem is going down. Now, our state of West Virginia still has a lot to do, has a lot to go through, and I'm hoping that our new governor, Jim Justice, who's all about kids, that he really understand and try to make a difference because they're our future. Kids are leaving the state in droves. Families are leaving the states in droves. But some of our kids, they get educated, and what they do, they leave. They need to come back. This is a place that you can invest in. And one of the things, because there's not a lot of competition, you know, with the market, right?
That's very true.
So if you get an ideal, and that's what community transformation is trying to do. They're trying to give the kids entrepreneurship. Now they're involved with the Hive, and the Hive is an acronym. I'm not sure exactly what it does, but it's the Hive, and there's certain counties involved with this Hive, and it's to promote entrepreneurship, to get young individuals knowing, thinking about a business aspect, so they can have their own business, have their own graphics group or whatever it may be. So we're starting them off getting that mindset that they can become productive in our society today.
Well, that's so wonderful, and I want to give you a chance just to leave us with some final words before we
Yes.
close out.
Well, one of the things I would like to say is that, you know, through God's grace and help, that the Community Transformation Project would be something memento. It would encompass all of the other things that we've done over the March Project over the year. And if anyone wants to reach me, they can call 304-207-8825. That's my office number, or 304-573-7810. And ask for Lee Leftwich, and I'll be glad to give them. And I'm also on Facebook, Lee Leftwich at
There we go.
Facebook.
Good old social media.
Social media, right? The kids got me into that as well, yes.
Oh, perfect. Well, thank you so much. You're doing a remarkable job. You should be so proud.
Well, I thank you for having me, and I'm glad to be able to respond to some of the things that help our society to be better. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And thank you for tuning in. Be sure to have a nice day.